All right, so here we are. This is a multiple listing contract. This is the type of contract we use to get the property onto the MLS system so that other realtors can see it and so that hopefully we can get a successful sale on your property. I'm going to run through things fairly quickly here. If you have any questions afterwards, feel free to give me a shout, 604-892-8155, or email me and I'm happy to answer any questions you have. So this is the multiple listing contract. Is between the seller here and McDonald Realty. Although it is between McDonald Realty and yourself, further in the contract it stipulates that it's actually an agreement with myself working for McDonald Realty and not with McDonald Realty having me work as their employee. So it does describe that later on. The listing authority, basically we have the listing contract goes from this date until this date, and that's when it expires. Just so you know, we always have an unconditional release of any client that is wishes to cancel at any time. Sometimes your situation may change and you wish to cancel. We do offer a full unconditional release at any time, so we're not worried about that. You agree to allow us access to the property, to allow us to get in and show the property and do the best we can to market it. It's regarding the property here, and this is the address, street name of the property. Obviously it's self-populated the incorrect address in here, but that doesn't really matter for this purpose. Here will be the legal description, and this field right here is the PID. That's the number that identifies the property. It's a unique property identification number, and that number is what we need to make sure is always accurate on a contract. In terms of sale, you will have the listing price here. Terms here will always say all cash. In other words, you're not taking a trade for the property. And then listing service and cooperating brokerage. Anything that we put on the MLS service goes out to all realtors that have access to the MLS system. So they can utilize that to market to their clients and to market the property as well. And then we get into the remuneration. The key here is that you only pay the commission if the property sells, and you only pay if there's an agreed upon offer and it actually completes. There is a stipulation in the contract that states that if the property is sold but it doesn't complete, the agents would actually be entitled to that commission. However, that has never happened in Squamish. There's one situation in 21 years of real estate that I've seen where the property had an accepted offer. It was a total case of fraud where the buyer did not exist, went to complete, and obviously didn't happen. If they found out slightly before completion that it wasn't going to happen. Anyways, that property ended up getting relisted on the market, resold. There was a little bit of potential litigation there, but it never transpired into anything, and everybody got their money and everybody was happy. So here on a completed sale, we do 7% of the first 100,000 and 2.5% of the remainder. Every time you get offered an offer on your property, we actually stipulate what that amount is for the offer and the counter offer price so that you're aware of exactly how much you'll be paying on each offer or counter offer. Of that 7%, we pay 3% and 1% to the buyer's agent, the person that brings the buyer, and then the remaining of that portion is paid to me through my brokerage after they take their what we call split. So that's that. You're designating myself as your agent. This was the information I was talking about. It's not McDonald Realty and me as their employee. Your contract is actually with me working for McDonald Realty. It is a semantic thing. It's a bit of a matter of words, but it is important because it allows me to represent you, and other McDonald Realty agents not have access to your personal information because it's not held with McDonald Realty. The majority of the stuff in here we can't actually change. We've attached on the email that we send you, we attach a contract. Read through these sections that we can't actually amend. And if you have any questions about them, please don't hesitate to ask. I will actually tell you in a very, very simple nutshell that we represent you in your best interest. We agree to only represent you in your best interest. You will never get into a situation where we have a dual agency, because I don't do that. If a client calls me about the property, I immediately refer them out to another realtor. I do typically get a referral fee for that, and it depends upon the situation, but I don't have anything to do with that client. It's strictly a referral that goes out. We agree to market your property, to do everything for you. You agree to allow us to have access to the property, to be reasonable about showings and such. And if you have a tenanted property, we will work with a tenant to make sure that the property is in its best state and work with them to give you the best opportunity to sell your property. You agree that you're going to pay us, you agree that we're going to put it on the listing brokerage site. Again, there's a fair bit of information in there. It's standard to all real estate contracts, but that's what we're dealing with. Conflict of interest. The reason that's in there is because there can be many conflicts of interest. We get rid of the one with the buyer, as I mentioned before, by shipping them off to another realtor right away. The other types of situations you can have is if it was a family member, if it was someone I know, or if I know a little bit of history about that particular person. If I do, I represent you, so I can actually disclose that information about them to you, but what I can't do is I can't disclose any of your information to them, and I have to make sure that I keep my personal out of it. If I know somebody, I will let you know right away so that there's no conflict going on. Collection and use of personal. This is the Privacy Act. We can collect your information. We keep it for a period of time, but we're not allowed to disclose it to anybody or give it to anybody for their use for marketing purposes or anything like that. Pretty straightforward. Termination of the contract. This section is quite irrelevant to any of my clients because I will offer you an unconditional release at any time if you wish to cancel the listing. I don't have a problem with that. It's pretty simple and straightforward. Miscellaneous provisions. This is regarding certain terms in the contract, what a sale means, what the term means, things like that. That's pretty ambivalent. It's not really a significant thing. And then here are the multiple listing contract Schedule A. This is the things we're going to do to market your house, the things that we offer you. We're going to advise you on pricing your property. We're going to list and market the property. Now, if, for example, here we have that there's the 4x4 signpost. If you have a condo, obviously that'll get put up on a condo board if the condo will allow it. But if not, then we just have to stick with the standard marketing. But I will do everything on this to keep you up to date and let you know everything that's happening with the marketing of your property. Fairly detailed. It does go through everything, and we do get 99% of what we put on this sheet. We get it done during the first 21 days of any listing anyways. So that is the listing contract. Once you sign that, we organize the pictures, we'll get on with the listing, and it'll hit MLS. Once it hits MLS, I will send you a link so that you can see what the listing looks like. All right, thanks very much, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.